Good morning and welcome back to Miniature Monday here on Gaming with ADHD, where today we are taking our final look at the miniatures from the Battletech Alpha Strike box set from Catalyst Game Labs. Now, this set is mostly, reissues of mechs that have come out in previous mech packs. There were two new mechs in the set, the Pouncer for the clans and the Wraith for the Inner Sphere. But in total, you do get 13 mechs. So if you've missed out on some of the mechs that we showed previously, there are two videos that came out earlier that do showcase those mechs. So with that being said, before we get into looking at the mechs, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I try to put out a few different videos each week covering all sorts of tabletop gaming content, and as Battletech is one of the games I've played for the longest time, it does show up quite frequently in my videos. Now, with that out of the way, what we're doing is we're going to take a quick look at the original piece of art that came out for the mech, and then we're going to look at the ilClan version of the art. The whole time there will be the actual figure on a rotating base, so you can kind of get some all-around views of it. But if you want some more in-depth look at the art for these particular mechs, I did an entire series of videos covering all of the mech packs that were put out as a result of the Clan Invasion Kickstarter. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. All right, now the first mech up is the Archer. So this is yet another mech that was subject to the licensing issues, and therefore this particular piece of art is quote-unquote unseen. Basically, this is based off of the original Macross or Robotech style art, and so it has been, changed up a little bit over the years to get us to this version, which is the ilClan version of the art. Now, this is actually the third or fourth version of this mech that they've put out. There was one in the mech packs, there is one in the Wolf's Dragoons pack, and if I'm not mistaken, I want to say there was one in the Game of Armored Combat box set, but don't quote me on that one. I forgot to look that up before recording. So, with that said, there are a few changes that we have here. So, first off, underneath the forearms, there is a larger laser. I'm not sure if it's supposed to still be a medium or if these are large lasers. But they are definitely more pronounced. The versions that have come out previously are much closer to the ilClan, where you just have a small laser emitter underneath the hands. You still obviously have the LRM-20 racks in both the right and the left torso, as you can see here. And other than that, that's the most pronounced change, except for maybe a little bit more reposing of the figure. But overall, they've done that with most of them. Even if they're not using new pieces, they at least try to pose them a little differently so that the mech does look a bit different. But overall, I like it. It's an Archer, but dear Lord, there are a lot of Archers in my collection, and I didn't even buy all of the sets. So there's that. All right, let's pause this and we will go to the next one. Now, next up, we have the Warhammer. This is yet again another unseen mech. It seems like most of the Inner Sphere mechs that they put into Alpha Strike were from the unseen, or at least of the Inner Sphere mechs. And the Warhammer is absolutely no exception. Again, coming from Macross and Robotech, this is also one of the iconic mechs of the game. It was on the cover of the starter box for a very long time. And so to lose it to the unseen licensing issue obviously was a bit of a blow. Now, this particular version, again, is based on the ilClan art. And I'm not entirely sure what weapons those are, but I don't think they are the PPCs that came in the original plastic mech. They seem a little bit longer. Nothing that's really throwing it off, however. But obviously, with the ilClan version, you've got the SRM pack rotated horizontally, the sensor pod over the left shoulder, and then the different weapon systems in the torso, which have also been changed a little bit. These definitely are a little bit more pronounced than the original mech that came out in plastic. But overall, it's good to see. It's nice to have another Warhammer because, like I said, it is kind of one of those iconic. So a lot of people are big fans of the mech. And let's be honest, it's a beast with 2 PPCs and, you know, plenty of support weapons to back it up. So, I mean, what's not to love? But overall, I like the mech. The arms are a little wonky just because, like I said, they just seem a little extra long on this version. But regardless, I'm not complaining about having more Warhammers. So that's that guy. All right, now we've got the Atlas. Now, the Atlas is, again, another one of those just iconic mechs of Battletech. When the Warhammer got removed from the box set, the Atlas was pushed forward to take his place with the distinctive skull face, cockpit, the AC-20 in the torso, and the rapid-fire LRM-20. It's, you know, it's kind of iconic for a reason. It's a beast. It's 100 tons of just mech wrecking mayhem. I like the design that they've put forward with the Atlas, especially the detail that's gone into the face. Yeah, I actually really don't mind the original art. You know, comparatively, you know, some of the original art doesn't hold up as well, but I do think the Atlas actually does. So that when we get the ilClan version, luckily it doesn't have to change as much. You get some more definition within the armor plates, but overall, you know, outside of emphasizing some features like the face, you know, it really does hold up. Now, this particular miniature, yeah, they've gone for a more, I'm going to call it kind of like a stoic or like a parade ground kind of pose. You know, in fact, much closer to the ilClan art that we see here. You know, not very dynamic, but let's be honest, it's an Atlas. It doesn't have to be dynamic. You're going to look at it and be like, this thing's going to wreck my face. So, overall, I absolutely do like this figure. I think they've absolutely captured both the original intent and the modern look very well within this miniature. And last up, we have the new Inner Sphere mech for Alpha Strike. Now, this is the Wraith, making its original appearance in Tech Readout 3055. We actually don't have a lot of historical art for this particular mech. You know, as you can see here, it very much looks like an insect. It's got the 2 antennae, the double energy weapons in the left hand, or the left arm, and the single over on the right. Not a bad looking mech. 3055 is definitely some of the earlier art for Battletech. But I think by this point, they'd kind of gotten their feet under them and were producing, or at least having their artists produce a little bit more cleaner, you know, easier to imagine art styles. Now, when we go to ilClan, they have definitely given, you know, this mech an upgrade. It's a lot. It looks a lot more durable, but you still kind of get these antenna coming off of the back and the torsos. You still have the double energy weapons in one hand and the single energy weapon on the right. For the new figure itself, I think they did a fantastic job in capturing this piece of art and Since it's the first time it's made its appearance in plastic, honestly, they did a great job at just recreating the particular piece of art. So I do like it. It's not necessarily one that I'm going to rush out and buy Alpha Strike just to get this particular mech, but I'm not going to be upset over having it in my collection. It's still kind of got that bug look to it, but overall it's a nice looking mech in and of itself. And so that comes to the end of the Alpha Strike miniatures. And I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Make sure, like I said, you subscribe to the channel. I do have more videos coming down the pipe, featuring the mercenary mech packs that have been released to date, including Wolf's Dragoons. It's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed, these historical looks, and I hope you do as well. So last couple of things, there are links down below to both social media on Facebook and Twitter if that's how you like to get notified that new videos are out. In addition, there is a link to DriveThruRPG. If you do purchase your books for Battletech in PDF form, I would absolutely appreciate it if you use that. It does give a little bit of a kickback to the channel so that I can afford to bring you more content. And as Battletech is one of my favorite games, obviously it's going to be used for more of that as well. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you next time.